The Musicians of Bremen by Brothers Grimm. Once upon a time there was a donkey who worked hard for his master all his life, carrying sacks of corn to the mill. One day the donkey's master said to him that he wanted to get rid of him because he was too old and worked very slowly. This made Donkey very unhappy only for some moments, because he was a confident donkey. He could still bray beautifully. His friends donkeys always praised his voice, so he decided to go to Bremen and sing there with the town band. On the way to Bremen, our brave donkey met a dog. The dog was lying by the roadside and barking. Of course, they had a conversation, and the dog told his sad story. The dog was old and couldn't herd the sheep, so the master didn't need him anymore. The dog's voice wasn't perfect, but the kind donkey decided to invite the poor dog to go to Bremen. So, the happy dog agreed with great pleasure, and they went together. Passing by some village, they met a cat sitting on a wall, meowing. At once our friends understood that the cat had the same problem. They were right. The cat was old and couldn't catch mice. But our creative donkey noticed that the cat had a rather pretty voice and offered to join them. So these funny companions went on their way to the town of Bremen. They were very hungry when they saw a farm and decided to stay there. They hoped to rest and get something to eat. Suddenly, they saw a cockerel who was sitting on a gate post and crowing with all his might. It turned out that he wasn't useful anymore too. The farmer's wife was going to cook him in a big pot very soon. Perhaps it was his last song. The cockerel didn't think for a long time when the good friends invited him to Bremen. They were halfway to the town when it began to grow dark. Luckily, they saw a brick house and hoped to get there some food and rest. So, when they came to the house and looked through the window, they saw a band of robbers sitting round the table. There were a lot of tasty things and dishes on the table. The resourceful friends decided to frighten the robbers and make them rush away. First of all, the donkey put his hooves on the window sill. The dog jumped on his back, the cat climbed on the dog's shoulder, and the cockerel flew up and placed on the cat's head. Then they started singing at the tops of their voices. What a terrible noise they made! The robbers were so scared that they jumped out from the table and ran out of the house. The terrible men rushed as fast as their legs could carry them. The resourceful friends had a very good evening meal and settled down to sleep. It was very comfortable and warm for them to stay there. While they were asleep, one of the robbers returned to the house, opened the door, and crept inside. It was very dark in the room, so he stepped on all the companions one by one. The cat scratched his arm, the dog hit him on the leg, and the donkey gave him a sharp kick. all of them made a lot of noise. It sounded like nightmare. The last straw was when the cockerel flew at him, flapping his wings in the robber's face and pecking his eyes. After it, the terrible robbers never came again, and our friends lived there happily together. What a pity that they gave up the idea to sing with the Bremen town band. It seems to me they could become very popular.